Okay, so we are going to talk about society and culture. It's Unit 3 in Outcomes, advanced level, and I will give you 12 statements, 12 uh, facts, not facts, but 12 statements, and you are going to expand on them and to tell me whether they describe your country or not, how much they are true for your country.
Okay, clear as mud. 12 statements, expanding on them from a French perspective and judging how true they are. I'm locked in. Let's do
Okay,
this.
so the first one, the people are incredibly welcoming because hospitality is central to the culture.
Mm. Honestly, that's a bit of a stretch. It's not that we're unwelcoming, but hospitality isn't necessarily the first thing that springs to mind when you think of French culture. It's more reserved, maybe. We're polite, sure, but not overly effusive with strangers. Does that make sense?
It does. And
Sorry.
does it depend on the region in France? These, like, just that maybe in some regions people are friendlier than in the others. Can you compare Paris with the south of France?
Oh, absolutely. It depends massively on the region. Paris, look, Paris is a capital city. People are busy, they're rushing around, there's a lot of tourists. It's not exactly known for being warm and fuzzy. The South, though, totally different vibe. More relaxed, more traditional. People take the time. Customs are still a big deal. It's definitely more what people imagine when they think of French hospitality, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay, so in the south, the population is more welcoming, right? So people are just more welcoming, and if you visit France, it's better to go to the south, probably. Just, I don't know, just a tip for the tourists. Does it
Yeah,
make sense or not?
it makes total sense. If you want that classic, welcoming experience, the South is definitely the way to go. Paris is amazing for museums and energy, but it's not exactly a hug everyone you meet kind of place. Good tip for tourists, honestly.
Okay. And the second one, it's quite male dominated. Women still face a lot of discrimination in the workplace.
Hmm, that's less untrue, honestly. It's getting better, definitely, but you still see it. If you walk into a meeting, there are often way more men in suits. It's noticeable. It's not blatant, but it's there.
What about salaries? Are they equal or men really earn more?
Okay, so officially, and this is important, the law says salaries should be equal, but in reality, there's still a gap. It's shrinking, and it's not as huge as it used to be, but generally, men still earn more, especially in senior positions. It's subtle. It's often down to negotiation skills or and things like that, but it's definitely still a thing.
Okay.
Ready for the next statement?
So, yes, I am. And number three, it's still quite conservative. If you don't conform, life can be hard.
That's interesting. Actually, I'd say it's more the opposite these days. France is pretty liberal, to be honest. We're a secular country. Religion doesn't really play a big role in public life. You can pretty much be who you are without too much hassle. It's definitely easier to blend in if you don't make a fuss, but there isn't a huge pressure to conform, like, say, in Japan, from what I understand.
So, but can you explain what that means to
Sure.
conform?
To conform, it's about fitting in, following the norms, like dressing a certain way, having certain opinions, acting in a way that's considered acceptable by society. In France, you won't get penalized for having your own style or beliefs, you know? It's not like there's a strict code you have to follow.
Yeah, that's
We have a
great.
very good. Ready for
Right.
number four?
Okay, so France. Okay, it's a multi-faith society. No one religion holds sway.
That's absolutely true. France is incredibly secular. Laicite is a big deal here. No one religion has any kind of special status. You're free to be whatever you want or nothing at all, and it won't affect your life. There's a separation of church and state that's taken very seriously.
And so, what does it mean to hold sway?
Hold sway basically means to have influence or power. So the statement is saying no single religion has power over the government or how society operates. Like you won't, see religious rules dictating laws, that kind of thing. You
Can
know,
you? Yes. Okay, so that's clear. But can you? So France is not one of them. France is a secular country, a secular society, and can you mention any countries in the world where religion holds sway?
absolutely. Mm, well, Iran, for example, has a very strong religious influence on its government and laws. Saudi Arabia, too. Israel, to a degree, with the prominence of Jewish law. And even the United States, while officially secular, has a lot of religious influence in politics and public debate. Those are a few examples that come to mind. It's really a contrast, you know? France actively keeps religion separate, whereas in those countries it's much more integrated.
Okay,
Good? Should
that's
we move on to?
yeah. Let's move on. And I was just about to ask one question. So I'm not sure if you can give me any precise data, but how many people call themselves religious in France? In percentage, let's say 40% or 60% of the population.
That's a tricky one, honestly. It's hard to pin down an exact number. Officially, around 65% identify as Christian, but that includes a lot of people who are culturally Catholic, meaning they were raised that way but don't necessarily practice regularly. The number of active practicing Catholics is much lower, more like 5%. And then you
Okay,
have a growing Muslim population, around 10%, plus smaller communities of Protestants, Jews, Buddhists, and others. It's a really diverse mix, and a lot of people don't identify with any religion at all. So it's a complicated picture.
okay. Let's move on then. There's a lot of bureaucratic red tape. You need a permit or ID card for everything.
Oh, okay, yeah. This one is very true. Oh my God, the red tape. It's legendary. Honestly, France is famous for its bureaucracy. You need a stamp, a signature, a form in triplicate for literally everything. It can be incredibly frustrating. Even something simple can turn into a huge hassle. It's just part of life here, unfortunately. It's not malicious, it's just how things are done.
How do you understand that phrase, red tape?
Red tape is a really common expression. It refers to excessive bureaucracy or rigid adherence to rules. The idea is that official documents used to be tied with red ribbon, so a lot of red tape meant a lot of paperwork and complicated procedures. It basically means dealing with a lot of unnecessary rules and forms to get something done. It's a fairly old expression, but still widely used.
So in the past, some documents were literally tied with red ribbons.
That's the story, yes. It dates back to the 16th century in England, actually. Officials used red ribbon to bind important state documents. So over time, red tape became synonymous with officialdom and complicated procedures. It's a bit of a historical quirk.
So it originates in England and
Yep,
It has a long history, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
It's
So
not a
one more question. So if we talk about permits, residence permits, what do they mean? What is that?
Okay, so a residence permit or a carte de séjour, as we call it, is basically a document that allows someone who isn't a French citizen to live in France for a specific period of time. It's essentially a visa that allows you to stay long term. There are different types depending on the reason you're here, whether it's for work, study, family reunification, things like that. You need to apply for one and renew it regularly. It can be a huge headache, honestly, more red tape. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does perfect sense because
Good.
because
Should we crack on with the next?
yeah, one second, just uh and so since you've mentioned that it can be a real headache and you need to renew your permits, what about ID cards?
ID cards,
Yes.
carte d'identité, are just as important. Everyone in France, citizens and residents alike, has to carry one. You need it for pretty much everything. Opening a bank account, signing a lease, getting a phone contract, even cashing a check. Police can ask to see it at any time, so it's important to have it with you. And yeah, getting one or renewing one
You
can
don't
also
have
involve.
an ID card, so police stops you in the street and they ask you to show some identification, but you just forgot it at home. So what's going to happen to you?
Ah, okay. So technically, you're supposed to carry it at all times. If you don't, then you can't explain why. Like you genuinely just forgot it at home. They can take you to the police station to verify your identity. It's not an arrest necessarily, but it's a huge inconvenience. They'll
Okay, let's move on. That's clear. So, and then you will just explain them that you forgot your ID card, and they will just maybe check your uh, identity on their computer in their on their database, right? And they will let you go.
exactly. If you can convince them that you're being honest and you just genuinely forgot it, which is what most people would say, they'll likely check your details in their system. If everything matches up, they'll usually let you go with a warning. But, it depends on the officer. Some are more strict than others. It's
Okay,
always best.
it's very individual. So if you are lucky and you
Exactly.
so you deal with a nice insightful officer, you will be free. If you come across a very, how to say, strict police officer who is going to, just who is who will not probably rely on the information that you provide, won't believe you, will just ask for some, I don't know, just evidence. No, not evidence. So I'm digressing. So okay, let's keep it that way. So uh, if you are genuinely honest, you will be free. You will just go home, and next time you will carry your ID card. If you're not lucky, so you'll have to maybe just spend some hours in that police station until your relatives or friends will come there and take you home.
Spot on. You've
Can,
got it
can
exact.
they will just confirm your identity, right? So they will tell their police officer that they know you and they would somehow be able to prove that.
Perfectly explained. They'll need
They-
someone to vouch for you.
yeah, so
All
right.
right. So,
Okay,
statement number 6.
it's very family centered. Most people's social life revolves around their extended family.
Hmm.
What is that extended family? So what does it mean? How many people are just members of that extended family?
Okay. Good question. So, extended family means more than just your parents and siblings. It includes grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, all those relatives. In France, it's not quite as central as you might find in, say, Italy or some Asian cultures, but still plays a role. But for me personally, this is what I'd say if I was French. It's definitely not the core of my social life. I don't see my extended family that often, honestly. I have a few close friends who are more like family to me, if that makes sense. So it's not a rigid rule.
Right. So in general, it's not the case. It's not very common for French people to have that, extended family. Usually it's
Mm,
just your close relatives, your just grandparents, parents, your blood, your real blood brothers, sisters, right?
That's more accurate, yes. It really varies person to person. And like, yeah, the nuclear family, parents, siblings, maybe grandparents, is generally much more important than a large extended network. It doesn't mean people don't like their extended family, just that they're not always super close.
Okay, got it. Number seven. It's basically a very secular society, and people have lost touch with their traditions.
Okay, that's interesting. So we talked about it being secular, which is definitely true, but lost touch with their traditions? I wouldn't go that far. It's more like traditions have evolved. Like people still celebrate Christmas and Bastille Day, but maybe not in the same way their grandparents did. There's a lot of preserving going on, even while things are changing. It's not a complete abandonment of tradition, if that makes sense. It's more like traditions are adapting to modern life.
Right, makes
Moving
sense.
on.
And yeah, let's move on. It's clear enough. So, France is a secular society, and people still s- sorry, just I miss people still keep in touch with their traditions. They celebrate a lot of holidays, like you mentioned, Christmas, Bastille Day, and maybe others, maybe the New Year. Mm.
Yeah, good recap. Let's do statement eight.
Okay, it's a very liberal society. People don't like to interfere. It's very much live and let live. What is that? Live and let live. So,
Yes. Laissez-faire. That's exactly it. It translates literally to let do, but the idea is live and let live. People generally value their privacy and don't like to get involved in other people's business. It's seen as rude to pry or be judgmental. It's about tolerance and accepting people for who they are. Definitely a strong value in French culture. It's about minding your own business.
and when we call some society liberal, what do we imply?
When we call a society liberal, we mean it's generally open minded and accepting of different viewpoints and lifestyles. It suggests a focus on individual freedom and rights and a reluctance to impose strict rules or moral standards. It can also mean the society is politically progressive, supporting things like social justice, equality, and freedom of expression. It is a generally free thinking vibe. Does that make sense?
Excellent. Okay, so that's a very extensive and precise answer, definition of a liberal society. Now let's move on because just, I'm afraid we might run out of time. So let's just keep it short. Number nine.
Fair enough. Let's keep the momentum going. Hit me
Well,
with number nine.
okay, life can be quite difficult, but people generally have a very positive outlook.
Hmm. That's surprisingly true. Life can definitely be stressful in France. Taxes are high, bureaucracy is a nightmare, things can be expensive. But people generally maintain a certain joie de vivre, a joy of living. There's a belief in resilience and enjoying the small things and in facing challenges with a degree of optimism. It's a bit of a paradox, honestly. It's a strange thing because they're pretty realistic people.
And so outlook means what?
Outlook refers to someone's general attitude or perspective on life. It's how they tend to see things, whether they're optimistic, pessimistic, hopeful, or cynical. In this case, it's suggesting French people, despite the difficulties, generally have a hopeful or positive outlook.
Great to hear that. So
All right, on to number 10. Don't want to
class,
dawdle.
sure. Number 10, class is a big thing. People are very aware of your background, and there's not much social mobility.
Mm. Okay, this one's complicated.
Really?
Yes, it does. Really likes to talk about equality, social mobility, but in reality, there's still a class consciousness. Yeah. People are aware of your background, your education, your family, where you come from. Social mobility, it's not impossible, but it's definitely harder than it should be. It's getting better, but there's still a bit of a divide between the elites and everyone else. So it feels so ironic because their system and ideology are all equal opportunity, but it just isn't. It's pretty complex. Does that make?
Does it make sense? It does, but I have a follow-up question. So you imply that classes still exist as I understand.
Exact.
Really? So can you mention any of them?
Okay, so it's not a rigid system like you might find in some countries, but there are layers. And you have the haute bourgeoisie, the old money, the families who've been wealthy for generations. Then there's the petite bourgeoisie professionals, business owners, the middle class. Then there's the working class, blue collar workers, employees, and increasingly a precariat, people in insecure employment, often young people struggling to find stable jobs. It's a bit of a simplification, but that's the general idea. It's all pretty subtle, though. It's not about how someone dresses or speaks. It's about education, networks, and opportunities. It's definitely something that shapes people's lives.
Can you move from the lowest class to the highest one?
It's really hard.
Okay,
Not
let's
impossible, but incredibly difficult.
right. Okay, that's still a possibility. So
All right,
we can
next
just
statement.
yeah, move on. There's it's by the way, it's surprising to hear that fact about France that classes still play a huge role, and there are so many layers of social structure in that country, and I didn't know that. Yeah, that's just very.
It's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it?
It
A
is,
country that,
yeah. Mm. I would imagine to hear that about some other country, maybe not in Europe, but somewhere in Asia, probably, uh, where class system still exists. But in France, it's not, of course, it's not that rigid. Yeah, as you said, it's just in fact that takes place, and those classes are not kind of, just
they're not openly advertised, definitely. It's very subtle.
right.
Okay,
Let's move on. Yeah,
let's keep.
because yeah, so let's keep it just as it was. Number 11. There's quite a lot of banter. Friends will often take the Mickey out of each other.
Ah, yes. Okay, now we're talking. French people love a bit of banter. Very common.
What is that?
To take the Mickey out of someone, or just take the Mickey, means to tease someone playfully. It's like friendly mocking, making fun of someone in a light-hearted way. It's
So
a sign of affection.
it doesn't mean to insult someone, right? It's just it happens between friends when they want to kind of make fun of make fun of someone, right?
Exactly. absolutely not intended to be malicious. It's a way of showing affection and bonding, as strange as that might sound. It's about playful ribbing. It
And
means
banter?
banter is the actual exchange of that, teasing, the witty, playful conversation. It's the back and forth. So you can have banter, and you can take the Mickey as part of that banter. They're pretty much interchangeable, but take the Mickey is more the act of teasing, while banter is the overall style of conversation. Does that clear it up?
It does. So is it the case in France?
Absolutely. French people love a good bit of banter, maybe even more so than the British, if you can believe it. It's a big part of the social interaction and culture, and they're pretty quick-witted about it. It just needs to be good fun and understood as such. Okay,
Great.
last one.
Okay, number
And
12, and the last one. People are quite reserved. It can be hard to know how they are feeling, how they are really feeling.
that's very true. French people aren't always the most outwardly expressive. It's not that they're cold or unfriendly, but they tend to be more contained. They don't always wear their hearts on their sleeves. It can be hard to gauge their true feelings, and they're definitely less likely to engage in small talk than, say, Americans. They don't really do this big, enthusiastic shows of emotion. You really have to get to know people to understand their true nature. Does that sound right?
It does, yeah. You know better, actually. You live there. Right. So can you mention three countries, three nations, which are deemed to be reserved, and three nations that are quite the opposite?
Okay, that's a good question. Reserved, hmm, let's see. Definitely the British. They're famous for their stiff upper lip. Finns, too, are generally quite reserved. And Japan definitely, there's a strong culture of not showing strong emotions publicly. As for the opposite, Italy, hands down. Italians are very expressive and emotive. Brazilians are very open, warm, and passionate. And Americans, they tend to be more outwardly friendly and enthusiastic than most. Of course, it's generalizing, but that's a good starting point.
Great. Okay, so that's
Well,
it.
that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, so thanks for your help today. It was very useful, and have a good day. Take care.
Oh,